Wait, before you start, watch this video because it can save you a lot of time and a lot of headache. That's because lock count at the end of the day does not matter. I'm just being real. You don't know what you're doing. If you know this for a fact, you should probably go to a loctician. Well then, girl, all the things you need to know before starting your locks, whether you're starting them yourself or if you're starting with a loctician. What's up, you guys? Welcome to my channel. I'm LC. If this is your first time at my channel, then welcome. And if you are returning, then welcome back, fam. What's up, you guys? Thanks for clicking on this video. So I have been reading through your guys' comments, and I feel like there has been an overall theme within my comments of people that either just started their locks or they are about to start their locks and they are looking for help. And I know that that could be a big reason as to why you subscribe to my channel, because you are in the beginning of your journey or you're about to start your journey and you want that assistance and that guidance, so you came onto my channel, which I am flattered and I am honored. First off, thank you for coming onto my channel. I appreciate it. And I did a poll on my YouTube channel asking you guys what type of lock content you all want. And the one that got the highest votes was lock content that is centered around the starter lock process, which totally makes sense and I totally understand, because that is the crucial time. That's when you're trying to get all the information that you can get, because you have either just committed to this style or you're about to commit to this style. You might be a little scared, you might be a little nervous, and so you are seeking out all the information you can get so that you can have a successful lock journey. And I just want you to know that you have came to the right place, because thankfully your girl cares about you having a successful lock journey. I know that when I was first starting off this journey, I didn't see anyone that had a similar texture to my hair type. I felt extremely discouraged. I felt like there was a lot of information I did not know, and it was also not the easiest to find. And I can never forget when I was first starting my locks myself, the amount of research that I did. Y'all, I wish I can look through my YouTube history from back when I started my locks, and I'm sure I watched at least 100+ videos, and even then I did not get all the answers I was looking for, or maybe I just couldn't find it. I don't know, but I feel like I was looking. I was looking. Okay, these are 7 things you should know before you start your locks, whether you're starting them yourself or if you're starting with a loctician. Okay, so number 1. You might know that you want to lock your hair, but the world of sizing when it comes to locks is ginormous. There are so many options on what size you want your locks. I'm talking about from micro locks, sister locks, small locks, medium-sized locks, large locks, wicks, freeform. How do you want your locks to be? I feel like I have seen so many videos of people that have started their locks, let's say 4 months down the line, 8 months down the line, 2 years down the line. They are combing their locks out because they did not like the size of them. There are people who have made their whole platform on YouTube based off of them restarting their locks and picking a new size because they're consistently not liking the size of their locks, which is fine. You are always welcome to start your lock journey over, start it again, whatever you want to do. But I do think it's helpful if you enter your lock journey having the size locks that you want to have. I feel like that plays one of the biggest roles. Depending on what size your locks are going to completely look different. It's going to be different styles you can do. It'll shape your face differently. You may maintain them differently. All of this can be determined on the size of your locks. Now, something to keep in mind, you want to know what size you want your locks to be when they are mature. When you're looking for lock inspirations, don't base the sizing off of what their starter locks are at 4 months, because the size of their locks at 4 months will more than likely not be the size of their locks at 1 year. You want to know when your locks are mature What size do you want them to be? Do you want to have little tiny micro locks where you have maybe like anywhere from 200 to 500 locks? You can part them in all different types of ways. At times they still almost look like loose natural hair because the locks are so small. Do you want to have something more like a medium size? I would say mine are a little bit more medium. I wouldn't consider mine large. I wouldn't consider mine super small. I would say that mine are a medium size. Do you want really large, thick locks? I don't have the answer for you because one, all locks are beautiful. Like, I will look at someone with micro locks, I'll look at someone with super large locks, and I will at times be envious of both. That just goes to show you that locks are beautiful in every size, but that might not mean that you want every size on you. I knew personally that I wanted mine to be small enough where I can do different styles with them. I can put them back in one full ponytail. I want to be able to put them up in one full bun. And just keep in mind that the thicker that you go with your locks, typically the less you can manipulate and style them. That's not to say you can't style them at all, but you just have limited options. If you only have like 4 locks on each side, you're probably not gonna be able to do like a half up, half down bun the way someone that may have like 90 to 100 locks in their head. So just keep that in mind. There's not a good answer or a bad answer. Okay, so once you have your sizing down, you need to then figure out your parting because there's all different types of parting styles. When you look through different lock inspos, when you look on YouTube, on Instagram, Pinterest, you may notice that some people might have square parts, others may have triangle parts, diamond parts, U-shaped parts, others may have no parting at all, it's just random. For most of them, these were all preferences on the type of parting either they wanted or the type of parting that their loctician knew how to do. Hello. Do you hear me now? Not every loctician knows how to do every type of parting. There are some locticians where all they know how to do is triangle parting. So make sure if you're about to go to that loctician that you want triangle parting. If you're going to a loctician, depending on the loctician, they may only specialize in 1 or 2 different types of parting. What I would not recommend, this is going back to a loctician, is trying to convince a loctician to do a parting style that they do not do. I've seen it. I had someone that went to a loctician and all she did was triangle parts, but she wanted to have square parts. And the loctician made it seem like she would be able to do square parts, and then she did them and they looked crazy. Crazy. Like the parting made no sense. They weren't squares, they weren't triangles, like they weren't lined up and even. It wasn't neat. It was a hot mess. And in the middle of the loctician doing her parts, when she was like halfway through her head, she would decide to remind her client, you know, I just remember I told you I don't normally do square parting. I normally just do triangles. Well then, girl, why are you making this attempt on my head? What? Keep that in mind. Know what type of parting you want, and also make sure that whether you're going to do your parting or whether you're going to have a loctician do your parting, make sure they know how to do it. For my hair, I decided to try to follow like a brick style parting, but I also was not super particular about my parts being perfect. I started them myself, and for the most part, I kind of parted my hair with like my nail, maybe use a comb a little bit at times, and just do my twists. Your loctician should know how to create the right size parting so that your locks will mature into a size similar to that. The sizing of your parts should kind of replicate the size that your locks will mature into. So typically, if you have a part that is this big on your head, even if you only have a starter twist that's like real thin, the goal is that over time, as your hair collects and grows and mats up in locks, your locks should grow out to be the size of your part. Hopefully that makes sense. The smaller the parts, the smaller the locks. Okay, so once you have your sizing down, you have your parting down, you now need to figure out your starting method. Do you want them to be started with coils, 2-strand twists, 2-strand twists that are then unraveled? Do you want them to be started with braids? Do you want to get instant started locks where they just crochet the hair and you instantly walk out with locks that same day? Do you want to get lock extensions and then you grow your locks out over time? There are several different starting methods, and that is something that you need to know. I get a lot of questions of people asking me, should they start their hair with twists or should they they start them with coils. I think that is a personal choice. I personally don't see that much difference between the twists and the coils once the locks are matured. I will say that at times coils can kind of have more of a uniformed, like perfect coil look, whereas sometimes twists can just have a little bit more personality, a little bit more curves and edges around them. But at the end of the day, honestly, to me, y'all, they end up all looking like locks. Like, you will have locks regardless, but you have to know how you start them. I just felt more confident in twists. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wasn't feeling how I was about to look in some coils. My hair was already fine. It was a little bit thin. Some of my ends were a little bit heat damaged, and I didn't want that for myself. So number 4, who is going to start your locks? Who's starting them? Are you going to start them yourself, or are you going to make an appointment with a loctician? There's pros and cons to both sides. I'll say let's start with the loctician side. Let's talk about the pros and cons with that. The pros of starting with the loctician, one is hopefully you're getting a person that is skilled and knowledgeable within the lock community. So therefore they can give you lots of tips and tricks, answer any questions that you may have on the spot. They have experience with starting locks. They know what they are doing. They know how to care for different hair types, and you are worry free. All you have to do is just sit down. You just sit down, and then your loctician is going to literally just transform your life. So that is definitely a pro. They will sometimes let you leave with product, and if you there's just some people that when it comes to their hair, they just don't got it. Like, all they can do is a ponytail. That's it. That's it. A ponytail, okay? If you know deep in your heart that you don't know how to do your hair, you don't know what you're doing. If you know this for a fact, you should probably go to a loctician. Now, cons of going to a loctician. They might not really know what they're doing. There might be people that say they know what they're doing, but on the regular, they really do press and curl, and they just happen to do locks here and there, but they're not really a loctician, and they might mess your hair up, okay? Or they might not understand how to get the size locks that you want. I have seen that where someone showed them a picture of what they wanted. They were hoping to walk away with like 80 to 90 locks, and they walked away with like 20 to 30 locks because the loctician did not understand sizing, and she didn't understand how to get her client's hair to the size locks that they wanted in the future. At times, some of these locticians will just do what they know. They might give you the same locks that they done put on everyone else's head. The same size, the same parting. They do the same lock pattern sizing on everybody. That's something that you have to keep in mind. If you want micro locks, there's sometimes locticians where they specialize in micro locks. They specialize in sister locks. And I would say if you're going to get something like that, go to someone that specializes in what it is that you want to do. Do not go to someone where typically they do lace fronts, but yeah, they'll give you some locks. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you're going to end up with. Better Yelp them, baby. I don't know, but do your research, okay? Now, if you start them yourself, pros and cons. Pro, you are starting your own lock journey, which if this is a spiritual journey for you as well, it can be really beautiful to know that the locks that are on your head were started by yourself, that you put that work in your time. It can just be a great feeling. You can completely control the sizing and the parting of your locks because you're doing it yourself. You can take breaks. You can do half your head on one day, you can do the other half on the next day, and no one's pressuring you to do any of that. And yeah, con is you don't know what you're doing. Do not try to put some starter coils in your hair if you don't even know how to like detangle your hair. If you don't know how to manage your hair, you probably don't want to start locks, because it's not like you just let your hair just mat up. You have to like properly prepare your hair to mat up so that you can have the desired locks that you're looking to have. 5 is figuring out what your routine is going to be. Your wash and moisture routine. And the way that this is figured out is by you just understanding your hair. How quickly does your hair get dirty? How often are you working out and sweating? How often are you maybe being in chlorine or in some type of salt water where you need to wash your hair? I know for me, I wash about every 2 weeks, about every 2 weeks, but for others, they might wash every 3 weeks. For others, they might wash once a week. It really depends on your lifestyle and like how much dirt is accumulating in your head. Okay, I don't know all that. I don't know. I don't know who started this theory that like dirty hair is the way to go with locks, but they lie. You can have a clean head and have locks. You don't have to go 3 months without washing your hair and just, why would you do that? Don't do that. Don't do that. also have a moisture routine. You're gonna have to learn this over time. You might not immediately know what your locks and your hair are gonna respond to, but you'll figure that out over time. You'll find a good moisturizing oil. You'll figure out, how often you need to spray it. You'll figure out how often you need to moisturize it. This is over time. I would say that I would recommend misting your hair probably a couple times a week, and then actually moisturizing it maybe like once or twice a week, depending on where you live and how dry the air is and how dry your hair is. But create a routine on how often you're going to be able to maintain this, and if you can maintain it, whether you're going to be going to a loctician and they're going to be giving you your shampoos, or if you're just going to be doing it at home. Number 6 is you need to know how you're going to maintain your lock. And when I say maintain, I mean maintaining the root of your hair. You can not retwist your hair for 8 months and your hair is still going to continue to grow and lock because it's still going to mat up. But if you go 8 months and you don't retwist it, and you maybe have your beautiful parting, that's probably gone. Like all of your hair and your roots are going to start to marry to each other and all become matted. It's just going to be one big matted piece of hair, which is fine, again, if you're freeforming. If you're not trying to freeform, then you do need to have some type of maintenance routine, whether that's interlocking, retwisting, crocheting, whatever that might be. There are different methods to maintain the neatness of your roots and to maintain your parts and to just maintain the health of your locks. Can be determined on the size. So a person with sister locks is not going to retwist their hair, okay? And a person that is free-forming is not going to retwist their hair. For me, I alternate between retwisting it and interlocking it. I kind of do a mixture of both, but that is something that you want to figure out, and you also need to figure out who's going to do it. Okay, so last one, making sure that you know why you're committed to this journey and what it is that you're hoping to get out of it. That's something that you definitely need to know, okay? If you're looking to never have to do your hair again, that's not locks. You're going to have to do your hair. Not in the same way that you had to do your loose natural hair, but you still have to maintain your hair. If you are getting locks because you want your locks to look exactly like that person you follow on Instagram, they can be inspiration, they can be inspo, that can be your motivation, but you will be highly disappointed if you want your locks to look exactly like theirs, because it's very possible that they won't. Even if you have the same hair texture, even if you have the exact same hair length, it is still possible that your locks and their locks are going to look different. That's something that you need to be okay with and not be wanting to get into this journey because you want to have her locks or because you want to have his locks. Speaking of inspo, this brings me to the whole lock count thing. I understand why you want to know the lock count. I get it. You see their hair, they have these beautiful locks. You want locks that look similar to theirs, and you can't really figure out the sizing or how many they have. So you ask them how many they have, and they say they have 104. So then you go home or you go to your loctician and you put 104 locks in your head and they don't look like their head. That's because lock count, at the end of the day, does not matter. I'm just being real. I share my lock count because I understand why you want to know. Mine is 96 if you want to know. I was asking others, but at the end of it all, it doesn't matter. Because if I have a lock inspo, right, and let's say her hair is 3C, thick on thick, right, luscious, voluminous, beautiful locks. And then I message her and I say, sis, how many locks you got? And then she's like, oh, sis, I have 107, right? And then I go home with my 4C, fine, little bit heat damaged, not thick on thick hair, and I put 107 locks in my hair. It's not going to be on luscious the way her 107 locks were, because we have two completely different hair textures, right? She has maybe way more hair than I do. Maybe the density of her hair is completely different. Maybe the health of her hair is completely different. Her hair might be much longer. There might be several different things that are impacting the way 107 locks look on her and the way 107 locks look on me. No, but those are my 7 tips. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If so, please make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed, and like this video so that I know that you are enjoying the content that I'm making. Please share my videos with anyone that's thinking about starting their locks. Be like, wait, before you start, watch this video because it can save you a lot of time and a lot of headache, and you don't want to have to be there 4 months, 8 months, 18 months down the line trying to comb out these locks because they are not what you wanted, or you're just shaving your head off. You don't want that. All right, you guys, that's all that we have for this video today. I'll be back very soon with another lock video, and I thank you guys so much for watching, and bye.
Maybe I've been going nowhere lately. It's time to start all over.